Today we're talking about something almost everyone deals with at some point: renting a room or an apartment. And not the dreamy version with perfect lighting and quiet neighbors. The real version: budgets, deposits, listings that disappear in 5 minutes, and leases with paragraphs that feel like they were written by aliens.
I love that you said real version, because renting is basically a mix of excitement and panic. Excitement because you might be moving into your own space, and panic because you're thinking, what if I miss some hidden problem and I'm stuck for a year?
Exactly. So let's make this practical. Whether you're renting a single room in a shared place or getting your own apartment, we're going to walk through how to search, what to ask, what to check during the tour, and how to not get wrecked by the lease.
And we'll also talk about roommate situations, because a room rental isn't just about the room. You're also renting the vibe.
Let's start with step 1. Figuring out what you can actually afford. People usually look at rent and stop there. But monthly housing cost is rent plus utilities, plus internet, plus parking if that's paid, plus laundry if it's coin-op, plus transit costs if the place is far from where you need to be.
Yes, a place that's $200 cheaper, but adds an hour commute, and higher bills might not be cheaper. And also, upfront costs. First month, last month, security deposit. Depending where you live, maybe a move-in fee, maybe application fees.
So a good starting question is, what amount can you handle monthly, and what amount can you handle on move-in day? Because those are two different numbers.
And if you're renting a room, the listing might say utilities included, which is great, but I always want details. Does that include heat and electricity? What about air conditioning in summer? Is there a cap? Because sometimes there's a limit, and then you pay extra if you go over.
Perfect segue into searching. When you're hunting, you want to filter hard. Not just price and location, but must-haves. And I think the most underrated must-have is reliable heating and cooling, depending on your climate.
Also safety, obviously. If you're new to an area, don't just trust the listing photos. Look up the neighborhood. Check how it feels at night if you can. And for apartments, check the building entry. Is it secure? Do doors latch? Is there good lighting?
Now, about listings. If a deal looks too good to be true, it's probably not true. Scams in rentals are everywhere. Classic scam signs: they want money before a viewing, they claim they're out of town and will mail the keys, they refuse to talk on the phone, or the story keeps changing.
And the photos look like a luxury magazine spread, but the price is suspiciously low. Another trick: they copy a real listing, then repost it elsewhere, so you can reverse image search photos and see if they exist on other sites.
A real landlord or property manager will usually have a process: showing, application, screening, lease, then payment. Pay attention to the order. If they jump straight to send deposit now, back away.
Okay, let's talk tours. This is where people get swept up. You walk in, it smells nice, it's staged, the sunlight is hitting the kitchen, and you're mentally placing your couch.
Meanwhile, the stuff that matters is trying to hide. So here's a tour checklist you can actually do on the spot. First, check water pressure. Turn on the shower and the sink. Hot water too. Does it take forever to heat up?
Second, check windows. Do they open and close smoothly? Do they lock? Drafty windows can destroy your heating bill and your sleep.
Third, look for signs of moisture. Water stains on ceilings, soft spots near the bathroom, a musty smell in closets. Mold problems are not something you want to hope won't happen.
And test outlets. You don't have to bring a whole toolkit, but even plugging your phone charger can tell you if outlets are dead or loose.
Also, noise. If possible, stand still and listen. Can you hear neighbors talking through the wall? Is the street loud? Are you right by an elevator shaft? People forget that noise is a quality of life issue.
If it's a room rental, the noise question is even bigger because you're sharing space. Ask what the household schedule is like. Do people work nights? Do they host friends? Are they quiet by 10 people, or we cook at midnight people?
And don't feel awkward asking. You're not being picky, you're being realistic. You're about to live with these humans. It matters.
Here's a good set of roommate questions that doesn't feel like an interrogation. Ask, how do you handle cleaning? Is there a schedule, or is it everyone just kind of does it? How do you split supplies like toilet paper and dish soap? How do you handle guests and overnight visitors?
Yes, and add, how do you handle sharing the fridge and pantry? Because nothing tests friendship like a missing yogurt.
And pets. Even if the listing says no pets, sometimes someone has a cat anyway. Or maybe you're allergic and you need to know that.
For apartments, make sure you ask what's included. People assume appliances are standard, then move in and discover there's no microwave, no dishwasher, or the laundry is in a different building. None of that is a deal breaker for everyone, but you should know before you commit.
And ask about maintenance. How do repairs work? Is there an online portal? How long do they typically take? Because we'll fix it is not a plan.
Now, the application part. Be prepared to move fast. In many places, good rentals go quickly, so it helps to have your documents ready. That might include ID, proof of income, references, and sometimes a credit report, depending on local norms.
If you're self-employed or new to a job, you can still prepare. Bank statements, offer letters, or a guarantor might help. And if you're renting a room informally, the screening might be more about vibe and basic reliability than paperwork.
But even in informal situations, don't skip a written agreement. You need something that states the rent amount, what's included, the due date, and what happens if someone wants to move out.
Yes, a handshake sounds friendly until there's conflict. Put it in writing while everyone is still friendly.
Which brings us to leases. The lease is not just a formality, it's the rules of your entire living situation. Read it. Not just the first page. All of it.
And if something in the lease contradicts what you were told, the lease wins. So if they said, oh yeah, parking is included, but the lease doesn't mention it, you want that corrected before you sign.
Key lease items to look for: the length of the lease, how renewal works, how rent increases are handled, what the penalty is for breaking the lease, and the policy on subletting. Plus rules on pets, smoking, and guests.
And utilities. Make sure it's clear what you pay versus what they pay. Also, check late fees. Some leases stack fees quickly. If you're ever tight 1 month, you want to know the real consequences.
Security deposit terms matter too. What conditions allow deductions? How long do they have to return it after move out? And what counts as normal wear and tear? That phrase can be surprisingly flexible depending on who's reading it.
One more thing. Take your own photos and videos the day you move in. Floors, walls, appliances, existing scratches, everything. Because if there's a dispute later, your memory won't beat a detailed record.
And do a move-in checklist if your landlord provides one. If they don't, you can create your own and email it to them. Email creates a timestamp, which is helpful.
Let's do a quick lightning round of comments. Should I worry? Questions. First, the landlord is rushing you to sign right now because there are 5 other people.
You don't have to move at their speed. It's fine that there's competition, but you still read everything. If they won't let you take 10 minutes to review the lease, that's a red flag.
Second, the place is clean, but the building hallway is trashed.
That's usually a sign of management quality. If common areas are neglected, maintenance inside your unit may be slow too.
Third, you love the room, but the roommates seem vague about bills.
Get clarity. Ask for an example of a typical monthly bill. If they can't explain how utilities are split, you might be walking into recurring arguments.
Okay, negotiation. People think you can't negotiate rent.
Sometimes you can, sometimes you can't. But you can often negotiate something. Maybe you can ask for a longer lease at the same rent, or ask for a small repair before move-in, or ask them to include parking or reduce a move-in fee. Just be respectful and realistic.
And if you're renting a room, negotiation might look like, can we agree on quiet hours, or can we clarify guest policies, or can we set a cleanup routine? Sometimes the biggest win isn't dollars, it's fewer headaches.
Now let's talk about protecting yourself without becoming paranoid. Use traceable payments if possible. Get receipts. Keep everything in writing, even if you're friendly with the landlord or roommates.
And trust your instincts, but check them with facts. If you feel uneasy, ask one more question. If the answers don't add up, you're allowed to walk away.
Because the cost of choosing wrong isn't just financial. It's stress. It's sleep. It's feeling trapped in your own home. The goal is a place that supports your life, not a place that becomes your biggest weekly problem.
Before we wrap, let's give listeners a simple renting plan they can follow. Step 1. Set your true budget, including bills and move-in costs.
Step 2. Shortlist places based on non-negotiables, location, safety, transit, noise tolerance, and what you need to function day to day.
Step 3. Tour with a checklist. Water, windows, locks, moisture, outlets, noise, and building condition.
Step 4. Ask direct questions about utilities, maintenance, house rules, and what's included. And get key promises in writing.
Step 5. Read the lease like it's a user manual for your next year. If you don't understand a section, ask. If you still don't understand, don't sign yet.
And step 6. Document the move-in condition, keep records, and pay in a way you can prove.
Renting can feel like a test you didn't study for, but once you know what to look for, you get a lot more confident. You stop being impressed by fresh paint and start paying attention to the stuff that actually impacts your day.
Next time you're touring a place and you feel yourself falling in love with the countertop, remember, you're not renting countertops. You're renting your mornings, your evenings, your peace, and your budget.
And hopefully, you're renting a situation where your yogurt stays exactly where you left it.
That's the dream. All right, that's it for today. If you're apartment hunting or looking for a room right now, take one idea from this episode and use it this week. One checklist, one question, one document you prepare. It makes the whole process smoother.